Biafrans, Tokwase Chukwu Obi. Welcome to my platform. I greet you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on your time zone or anytime you are meeting this platform called Linda's TV Show. If it is your first time and you like what we do here, kindly subscribe. Put on your notification bell to all notifications. In that way, you'll be able to know when we upload a new video. Here we react to all forms of video. We'll inform, educate the members of the public about the happenings. I put a disclaimer that we do not preach misleading information, hate speech, or violence in this platform, and I also seize this opportunity to appreciate you too for creating this wonderful platform. A call for self-determination is not a call for war.
In Nigeria is democratized. Even those who share them on, they are not spared. So the reason why I have to start like slowly, ladies and gentlemen, you might have read about Patrick Lumumba. You might have read about a lot of, Africans who have faced persecution, even death in their lifetime, in the hands of some few scared people that feel so powerful, but they are not powerful. They are just scared. They are scared of, a different opinion that doesn't align with their slavish doctrine. Then you will become a threat. And all they have to do is just to call a dog bad name. Tag a dog bad name so that you can hang it. So you have read about a lot of these individuals in their time. Some probably managed to be triumph while they were alive. Others become triumphant when they were dead, killed, so to say. A lot of us have read about the injustice against these individuals across Africa, and some of their stories inspired many of you today. To the point that some of you call yourselves Pan-Africanist. I don't know if you are probably like Democrats, as they will continue to force democracy on our system. So we have a few clique of people that are so scared of a man and his idea that they will use every resource to shut him up or shut him down. And now, this is not history. This is happening right before our very eyes. But because of our biases, a lot of us would rather just keep quiet. But inside us, this is becoming ridiculous. Whatever it is you have against this guy, present it in your own court. Even those of you who want him jailed, won't you want the court to do it? Now that their courts rejected that, you are watching injustice play out. And you know something about the consequences of injustice. They say the dildo of injustice is highly lubricated, and it will F everyone, whether you are for them or you are against them. And that's exactly what is playing out. Few scared people. Let's have a conversation. We don't want to be part of this union anymore. That is democratic. There are those who still want to be part of that union. There are those who don't want to. In a democratic setting, you have the conversation around it. But just few scared people. They are perpetuating illegality You are watching them, you are seeing them. They've done it to so many people. Some of them those you like. Some of them those you don't like. But what you don't understand is that in a system like this, you see those ones that are in prison, locked up, legally and illegally. Let's even talk about those ones illegally now. Those people locked up illegally. And those of you that are walking free, in case if you don't know, in a system like what you have in Nigeria, every one of you is a prisoner. You are a prisoner of a bad system that you, probably majority, are so weak to reject. You may not, the only thing differentiating you between those, they locked up inside the DSS cell, and those of you are walking free, it's just the bar, the gate. You have 150 million Nigerians who are living in multi-dimensional poverty, caused by those who said Nigeria is non-negotiable. Nigeria cannot be discussed. They caused the inflation, they caused the insecurity, they caused the poverty, they caused all of this, but yet they said it is non-negotiable. But that 150 million Nigerians are so weak to face this small clique and crush them to demand for something better. So Nnamdi Kanu locked up. You, the Abobaku Igbo hater, or a self-loathing Igbo, a self-hating Igbo, okay? Even if you want him jailed, Abba, wouldn't you want that to be done in their courts? And it can be done within 1 week. But because they have nothing concrete to present to say, this is why we want to jail him. This is what he has done. The first step of kidnapping him from Kenya and drugging him and taking him to Nigeria. It's been there for over 2 years with them. And guess what? He has won every of their case inside their own court. Then the Supreme Court, Supreme Court of Injustice of Nigeria, that sided with him that the procedure of kidnapping him from Kenya down to Nigeria was so wrong that alone should have earned Nigeria a bad reputation. Somebody who just believed they could break any law. That was under Bukwari. Bukwari left. Tifnubu appointed another lawyer. And that one is now sort of pushing with Nyako now to say, okay, Supreme Court said they shouldn't have revoked your bail. So what does that mean? Free him. Now they have managed to go and put something up now. Guess what that is? They said the time they attempted to kill him and he escaped their bullet, they said those shorties that stood for him, they've already filed the motion in court to say they have no idea where he was and therefore cancelled their shorty or their ascarantos. The bond they said they put down. So because of this, they cannot, this is in Yako now, they cannot really honor what the Supreme Court says. In all of this, just because he is yet to say, okay, fine, let's call it a day. Okay, I'm done. Nothing about Biafra. If he wakes up tomorrow and he says, Yeah, that's it. I won't say anything about Biafra anymore. Right? Suddenly, the Nigeria court that keeps postponing and postponing, they will easily sit and they will make the whole declaration within minutes. But he's adamant of saying no. Even if I tell you here that I won't do it anymore, I mean, I'm done. The point here is this. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to fulfill that. So what's the point of promising what can never happen? So they've ensured that they could probably lock him up forever, you know, and maybe just free him when they believe he is terminally ill. You are watching injustice, whether it is against somebody you like or you don't like, right? Number one, let's even pretend that you are ignorant of how they normally use this rigged judicial system to perpetuate. You've seen people who have suffered it. She'll raise the recent one at least that you can. So the bottom line there is that Nnamdi Kanu is asking for something that they know that sooner or later it is going to happen. But who is going to bail the cat? On whose head will Nigeria break up? So who is going to take the risk of letting Nnamdi Kanu be out there if Tinubu doesn't want to? Therefore, keep him there forever. Now, here is their latest when they appeared, when he was in court today. So the last time, Nyako threatened that if Nnamdi Kanu's defense, his own defense lawyers, if they don't come up with defense against the allegations, listen to this. So there is allegation of treason that Nnamdi Kanu wanted to overthrow Bokwari. Later, they said there is another charges of terrorism. And that is the one they are pushing about. In all of this, there is no single evidence on their part. So on the part of Nnamdi Kanu, they are following the judgment of the Supreme Court. So what did the Supreme Court say in December 2023? The Supreme Court said that the military went to his house to try to kill him, and they killed over 28 people that day. Was violation of his bail freedom. He only ran for his life. He did not jump bail. So the point where they said, oh, he jumped bail was completely laid to rest by the Supreme Court. That's the Supreme Court of Injustice of Nigeria. That, no, he did not jump bail. In fact, it should be a free man. But the Supreme Court of Injustice failed to just say go. Because it's a rigged system. In all these years that they've been holding him, right? They've not been able, in their own court, they've not been able to present one single witness or what they said he did. Nothing. You will read a lot in the papers, you will read a lot online. But when you go to their court, right? There's absolutely nothing presented. So their Supreme Court now said his own lawyers should take their judgments, in which they didn't really give any judgment. They said, oh, now take it back to the appeal court to go and process the reinstatement of his bail. You get what I mean now? No, I can't give you, I can't release you, even though they have no reason to be holding you. Okay? But the thing is, I don't want to be the one to give you bail, or I don't want to be the one to free you. Supreme Court of the land, go back to the appeal court so that can take other years when they keep going back and forth like this, okay? Then finally, They will say, okay, let's go back to the Supreme Court again, maybe in another 2-3 years. That is the injustice you are witnessing. Whether you like him or you don't like him, it will happen to all of us, but it's going to be differently. That is why we say, when they pray that Nigeria not happen to you, it's not because it is not happening to you now. It is because the one that will happen to you that will make you kind of look around and be like, how could this be happening? And they say, well, now you cause them now. You dey abuse government. Abuse government? Like, is that a crime? It's a crime. Oh, it's a freedom of speech. Freedom after speech, we don't know. Kind of a thing. You know? So it can happen to you, and it will. It will. Because at the end of the day, right? Even if you are one Nigerianist, one Nigerian, right? Lying to yourself. There's a way that when the Nigeria will happen to you, it will shock you. And it may not be directly, it may be to someone closer. And it could be in any way. When it shocks you, it'll push you down to our side. Those who have admitted that they are victims of Nigeria and they would be victims no more. I will be victim no more. Because those of you who are still championing one Nigeria, right? If you understand what you are championing or promoting, right? Then you understand being a victim and not knowing. In this regard, so their court now said, Supreme Court can't free him. Now they returned him back to the woman that they defeated. She was defeated in that same appeal court. When Malamu said, sorry, because appeal courts in Nigeria gave a ruling. They said, Nnamdi Kanu's kidnapping and what's that called again? There's a word for that. I will remember, don't worry. Right? That Nnamdi Kanu's kidnapping and abduction from Kenya, okay, and being returned to Nigeria was totally wrong. And therefore, Nnamdi Kanu cannot be tried in any court in Nigeria until Nigeria return him back to Kenya. And then puts a process of, God bless you, Jerry, illegal rendition. That is what that is. Rendition. It's a big word. But it became more popular when Nigeria kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. Rendition, illegal rendition, right? It is not like what they call the, the extradition. Extradition is legal. Rendition is not. Extradition means Nigeria is looking for him. They found him in Ghana. They will tell the Ghanaian government to arrest him because Nigeria need him. Then they will now go to court in Ghana and say, you can't let me go to Nigeria. They will kill me. So the human rights, this or that, if he wins in Ghana, Ghana will give him asylum. And there's nothing Nigeria can do about that. But if he loses there, Ghana will just give him to Nigeria. Same thing in so Nigeria will need to return him back to Kenya. That's what the appeal court said. Return him to Kenya, apologize, and give him back every of his stuff you took from him. Then you remember Malamu now came out and said, no, they can't release him. The Supreme Court should, Supreme Court should, they should wait for Supreme Court. Waiting for Supreme Court is what extended it to December last year. Then Supreme Court sent it back to appeal court. Now appeal court is now playing the hanky-panky now. Nnamdi Kanu is saying, read what the Supreme Court gave to you. Binta Yako says, I have read it. None of it says I should let you go. What it says here is that you should be here now defending this allegation, these new charges. They've brought new charges. You should be here defending those new charges, not asking me to honor the Supreme Court. And if you continue to say you are not going to put up any defense and you're going to continue to ask for bail, then I am going to have to adjourn this court until further notice. That's what Nyanko said, which means until you write me and say you are now ready to put a defense that they have put up at the Federal High Court, Appeal Court, and they've been defeated. Currently, Nigeria is owing Nnamdi Kanu over 10 billion naira in court award judgments, over 10 billion on top of this whole thing. They haven't paid. That's likelihood that they will never pay. So what they are saying now is that you need to come and defend all these things, these new allegations. So here is Nnamdi Kanu earlier today in the court speaking directly to Nyako.
But that's what you wrote. You said here, my lord, that the defendant has now applied for bail. Now, as I've said earlier, bail is a discretion of the court, taking into consideration all the conditions laid down in Muhammad Abacha v. State. At this stage, I am of the opinion that to make or take a stand on the bail application without first hearing and determining the issue that is glaring in the face, which is the absence of the defendant from the court since 25th of April 2017 until he was produced on the 29th of June. My lord, which was exactly what the Supreme Court did. They said that he did not jump bail. These criminals came to my house to kill me. That's what the Supreme Court said. This is in your own court, my lord. So I cannot understand, my lord, why my trial will be conducted contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria that said I must have free and unfettered access to my counsel. It's here. This is the law. But that's what you wrote. You said here, my lord, that.
So he was reading the judgment in part, reading their own constitution in part, telling her what he said, but she was like, no. I deny the bail. So she denied the bail again. Not because they have respect for their laws. Remember that. But he knows they can't try him under your bogus law, the same one you don't respect. Right? Then he added this.
Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act says I cannot be tried in Nigeria. That's the law of Nigeria. I can never be tried in any court of law in Nigeria. That's what the law says. Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Not me. As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committing an act of terrorism. Yes. It's very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person. Is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct the trial. Is not done anywhere in the world. I'm having in my case. Nobody there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All these shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You never stand. Not with me. I believe in justice and fairness. That's all.
Nigeria has signed to extradite, not to rendition.
Terrorism, prohibition, and prevention.
But Nigeria is a lawless country. Don't ever forget that. Ever. If you think you haven't become the direct victims yet, maybe you are one of those living in denial. You know, those people who tell themselves, you know, Nigeria is our country. We don't have any other one. Let us just pray and get yen like that. Pretending. This is, double-faced, like they say, it's not normal. But it's okay, it's normal, it's Nigeria. It is not normal. You cannot keep an innocent person in jail for the pleasure of a minute clique because they are scared. Do you understand that? If Nigeria begin to break up to parts, there will be new leaders emerging from all parts of what is today's Nigeria. And I promise you, none of those you see today would ever be seen anymore, not even in your regions. And they know it. They do. And they can't let that happen. And therefore, they have to make their own personal fear. You would have nothing to lose if Nigeria break up. Right? If Nigeria becomes, let's say, a confederation, right? That's the closest that you can be to the real solution. When people ask you what is the solution to Nigeria's problems, the primary solution that a lot of you are shying away from because to you, it's not going to happen. The primary solution is to actually ask all of us, you, me, everybody from everywhere, if we actually want to be part of this Nigeria and why. Would you like to answer that question? Isn't that something that, like, if you are given the opportunity, right, to choose between being part of Nigeria or having your own autonomous region, you know? Don't you think it's going to be like a great experience? So that for the first time, we can all actually be part of, like, number one, we can either be part of the creation of new countries, or we can actually be part of creation of a new Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria because that's the name now. What about a confederation? If you are so scared of living alone, I am not afraid of living alone. Are you? Not living alone that way. I'm talking about, take a look at this contraption first together. Okay? And then you realize that we are strange bedfellows. We've tried. But wouldn't you like that experience? So let's say a confederation. Confederation simply means if a group of people comes together and they say, we want Sharia. And the people living there says, fine, we want Sharia. Then they have Sharia. If this other side says, we want Christianity as our religion. If the people says yes, go for it. I'm only using that as the primary one, that even if you are so too concerned, like, everybody can actually live where it suits you and be a citizen of that part. That was how we began. Right? So where each region can grow according to their own pace. No rush. Wouldn't you like that kind of experience? I mean, I don't know how to say that to you, but I would love that experience. Okay? I participated in the Ref 1 of Scotland. And it was so beautiful. It was like, it was a beautiful experience. The passion the identity, the identity, they hold it so dear and kind of make me feel like, man, if to say Nigeria was a country, like the one that our forebearers were handed, the one that they handed it to our forebearers. So we would have had the Eastern region, Western region, and maybe a few other regions, instead of all these useless estates they created, which are just their little fiefdoms. So it's such, it's because they are so scared. They see Nigeria as a conquered territory, like their colonial masters, the puppet masters, sees it. And the rest of us, we are just like the game. So because they are scared of losing all they have stolen from you, from me, and others they plan to still steal from us, they started kind of dropping in, the minority group, the minority this. Let the minority decide where they want to be, and who decide who is minority. In a country that everyone should have equal rights on paper. So they are holding a man that was promoting dialogue, the one that is promoting conversation around who we are and why we deserve better. We should even ask for better, but you don't like his language. You don't like the way he talks. Because it's not saying sir, ma, yes ma, and doing like that to tell you that you are going to get killed by this system if you don't do something. They make it sound like breaking up Nigeria is a bad thing. Is the unity of is the one Nigeria right now, is that a good thing? Apart from the fact that they are telling you that it's going to be good, it's going to be, it's just going to be better one day. Is it really good? Is this one Nigeria good to anybody? Is it? Of course not. But you dread the word breakup without looking into it and say, break up into what? To who you are. I mean, Yoruba man. A Jebu man from Yoruba land. That is where I am. And that is what I see myself as. And in most places, that's what I want to be identified as. So I would love to have that choice. But they won't give me. That's something we all need to know. These guys who controls the courts, controls the police, controls this and that, they are not using them to protect you and me. They are using them to hunt you and I that ever tries to ask for something different. That is what they don't want. But yet, they can't protect us. They can't provide for us. But they won't let us demand for anything better or have something better. So it's just like the whip. The whip and all that all the time. So you are concerned about the language somebody is using. You are concerned about how somebody talks. You're not concerned about what they talk about, which actually affects you. So Nnamdi Kanu, every day that they lock him up in there, they are martyring him, so to say. You know why? Because what Nnamdi Kanu was promoting, no single of it has anything to do with violence. And they know that. And that is why it has become so difficult, despite the fact that Buhari's government that was funding terrorists, pardoning them in the name of Operation Safe Corridor, thought he could push the agenda of calling the IPOB a terrorist organization to the rest of their friends all over the world, but he couldn't. He tried. Spent millions of dollars to seek legitimacy, validation for killing the Igbos. He never got it until he was ingloriously kind of eased out. So every day they keep him there because what he is asking for, if they had let him, it could have been one of the most wonderful moments for every one of you that identify as Nigerian. A beautiful moment to begin to actually question your history, your identity, and even the origin of this one Nigeria. And the moment you find out, well, you are going to ask for something better. One Nigeria wasn't put together because of you, because of me. It is put together for criminals. And if you can't be one of the, one of the ardent criminals who can break into their circle, then you join them. The rest of us will be in the trenches, receiving the lashes, the consequences of your actions. They don't have any plan of making Nigeria better. Not these guys. So when you look around and think of prisoners of conscience, Nnamdi Kanu is one. They've done their best to sponsor act of terrorism in eastern Nigeria, militarize the region, and they've managed to get a few of their governors to begin to allocate lands for the Fulani terrorists in eastern Nigeria. Imo State is building Ruga. Enugu is building Ruga. That actually cracked me up because I remember one person was like sending me a message. Okay. So they saw something on online and they were like, it was like, Mayegun, man, you need to wake the Yorubas up. Oh. You need to wake your people up. All these things that they are allowing Tinubu to do. See, the Fulanis are already taking over Yoruba land. I said, okay. Because all this nonsense, they cannot try it in Igbo land. I was like, okay. But if that makes you feel better. All right? But the fact on ground is that the weaklings among you, they have not only allowed the terrorists to kill the Igbos, okay, in Ebonyi, in Imo, as well as the recent, the recent one, Enugu. Not only that they have killed and kidnapped, yeah, there are two governors already building Ruga for Fulani. I'm not saying it goes still, but say you can tell me that here, right? But the bottom line here is this. It is actually not a competition in this regard. We have weaklings, right, who are ready to do the bidding, right, of this Fulani terrorist, all for power. And keeping the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, as well as many people as they can grab and tag them, terrorists, or tag them wherever they want to tag them, and lock them up. It's unfortunate, but a lot of us needs to know this. All of us are awaiting victims, and every of our own part is more or less like, if not gone, but almost. And the criminals who don't want you to have that chat, those ones who make you believe that if Nigeria break up, I don't know why you are afraid. I don't know why you will be worried. What do you think you are going to lose if Nigeria break up? Do you mind? Like, I actually really want to read the comment on this. Okay. Before we proceed. Brethren, those of you who believe in one Nigeria, don't know what you are benefiting, I may not know. Okay. But what do you think you are going to lose if Nigeria break up? What do you think you're going to lose? To me, nothing. Except the chain. That's the only thing I'm going to lose. You get that now? The mental slavery, the mental chain that has kept a lot of you so scared when you hear the word break it up. You're not losing anything. So what do you think you're going to lose? What do you stand to lose? If Nigeria break up. But if we break up, we will begin to kill ourselves. Who are those saying that to you in the first place? Who? The people that are keeping you inside this one Nigeria. The one that is like a chicken inside the cage. You see the chicken and the chicken owner. Have you seen the chicken owner? The way they pamper the chicken. They don't pamper the chicken because they love the chicken. It's because they love the chicken. For meal later, yeah? So that's how Nigerians are. You're just like inside the cage. And they could just pick you anytime. Poor healthcare, police stray bullets, illegal raid, what do you call it? Fire incident, road accident, lack of, all of that stuff. You're like that chicken inside that cage that they just take anytime and they want. What do you think you're going to lose? And who is telling you that if the Igbos have Biafra, they will start fighting and killing themselves, other than those who are already killing you inside Nigeria? Who are those telling you that once the Yoruba nation comes, this one that we will start killing ourselves? Who are those? The slave masters and their humbled slaves that are already being stigmatized inside Nigeria, who are already drenching in the poverty of Nigeria. So what do you really want to really lose? The only thing you are going to lose when Nigeria break up is your chains, that mental chain. You see, those who are so scared to let us have that conversation now, they are the same people who removed history from your curriculum. Because history would have possibly told you a lot. It would have revealed so much about our identity and the people we have a lot in common with. The actions of those you call the heroes past, who are pretty much criminals past, would have been revealed. You won't worship them and you will never want to be like them. But they removed the history for a reason, just to further keep you deluded, confused, and identityless, with no identity or confused identity. We must fight for our country. Which country? Which one? So we'll continue to demand, since they've managed to kidnap him, put him in their own instances within their this, right? So they could continue to run the illegality. But the table will turn. And the one day will be one day. You see, this conversation you don't want to have, right? This man will be the symbol of it. At least a lot of people have come around after realizing how they have been played, how they have been deceived, and how they expected the whole thing to turn out, but it's not. And they've come around. And they're now asking, why are you keeping him? Why they are keeping him? Because what he is standing for seems to be the last leg that Nigeria is standing on. Once they remove that, it's over. And then on the other side, especially to some of you, the obedient, let me tell you something about Nigeria. and the owners of Nigeria, how they operate. In case if you do know, or somehow you probably have forgotten. Syndrome. Let me remind you. You see, when you go together and say you are preparing for elections, it is one of the delusion that has come to be like other abnormalities that you have normalized, make you feel like you're actually having an election, right? Well, here in Nigeria, there are those who are like the owners of Nigeria in that clique. If the pressure, because the more they fail, okay, the more people will kind of push and demand for the breakup of Nigeria or something, and they can't let that happen. So something happened in in 1998, and that was when Abacha died. So when Abacha, when Abacha died, Abiola died, right? And that sort of gave people like Tifnumbu and Co. a bit of a very good PR talking point. So they were able to use the same divisive thing you are witnessing today of how the northern Nigeria was out to kill all the Yoruba leaders so that they can enslave the Yorubas. That message sold well because Abiola won election, you jail him. You kill so many Yorubas, you jail some of them. At which level? You now killed him again. Man, it's time for Yoruba to leave Nigeria. Okay? That was when the likes of Tifnumbu said they do not believe in one Nigeria because there's nothing called one Nigeria. We all know ourselves. So the Yorubas, the Yoruba nation will stand alone and face the military. Okay? And if the military chooses not to return to democracy or something, right? They were going to declare Yoruba nation. You won't believe it, oh. Yeah. Same people who told Abiola to go and declare that he is the president. And then he got arrested. He was meant to actually escape. But he just felt like, you know what? I'll just face this. Then he never came out alive. So Tifnumbu and gang, right? Able to push the agenda that made the Yorubas the victims of Nigeria. But it didn't last so. And that is why I just don't know the kind of leaders that they have in Igbo land. I don't understand. I do have an idea, but I just keep asking myself, like, do they actually look in the mirror themselves? They are older than us, very elderly people. They should have enough experience. I know that they say the Igbos are more interested in business, they are not interested in politics and blah, 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 blah. But there were those who were interested in politics and so many other things. There were professors, there were like serious Igbo academias, like, you know what I mean? Those who could, possibly speak out. Because when it was the Yoruba's turn, we were threatening to leave Nigeria. I don't know how old you are around that time. Because I was already a newspaper reader. I was like a newspaper addict. Political side, all of them. They said Yorubas have been cheated. They killed Abiola. So what is Yoruba doing again? Who are those pushing that? Tifnumbu and gang. And guess what the owners of Nigeria did? They quickly came together and said, you know what? To keep the Yorubas, we have to make sure that we give the Southwest. Number one, we need to return to democracy. And when we are returning it with Yoruba. That was our Obasanjo, who was on the death row. He was supposed to be killed by Abacha. 2 days before Obasanjo was to be killed was when Abacha died. And that is why they said Sergeant Roger and few others, they said they took few of those prisoners like Dia, Olarewaju, and Obasanjo. They went to the prison to go and take them. It was Mustafa who stopped them. Because they were like, if Abacha is dead, Abiola must die. all these, Yoruba priests, including Obasanjo, must die. But they saved him. And they made the arrangement of releasing him, Abdusalami Abubakar pardoning him, returning all of his sister assets, Nigerian properties that he converted to his own, Obasanjo. They started releasing them to him. The first person to actually give Obasanjo bag of cash was Atiku Abubakar. And that was why Atiku Abubakar became, not because of that money, but Atiku Abubakar was part of the arrangement. He was the one to hold the block of the northern criminals inside Obasanjo's government. So the bottom line is that they saw it that if they, I don't know if what will happen or if they didn't do, but I think it was so real then that they believed that the Yorubas could hunt. But we didn't know that those were just political jackals, chancers. Okay? And that's why they said that Nnamdi was so mad that Obasanjo that did not do anything about democracy. This guy has just made the arrangement. Go bring Obasanjo out. Arrange him. Made him president. Kind of. So what I now see is that you see Nigeria is already tearing apart if it's already not, if it's not like torn already. Right? Now, the situation is now going to get to a stage where you are going to push more Igbos to the Biafra struggle. A lot of them are already, some of them who don't like Nnamdi Kanu are already feeling like, I don't even know why they are keeping him. I don't know this or that. That is how it's going to start. Nigeria will push a lot of you who still don't kind of agree, or you are still like in between. Before you are far left. They should arrest him. He's just a useless this. He's just a useless that. You have all opinions about Nnamdi Kanu. You as an Igbo man or Igbo woman. 7-8 years ago, Abi. Today now, you are in the middle. You are now like, I don't even know why they are still keeping him. This country, I don't know why they are keeping Nnamdi Kanu. Look at this old, see this breaking news. So person has been freed. Then they go there and say, I don't know why they. It's going to be slowly. They're going to push you to now understand what they are really doing. That what they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu, they will do it to any of you. All of you. The moment they see that you are standing or pushing for something that is a threatening their estate, their investment. So now, when they push a lot of you to that side.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notifications. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.